Donald Trump has reportedly been exhibiting even stranger behavior in private, going on childish tirades against his generals, including calling them dopes and babies behind closed doors, and criticizing the United States military as one he would not want to go to war with. This is truly stunning. There's a book coming out tomorrow called A Very Stable Genius, Donald J. Trump's Testing of America. It's been written by two authors, Carol Leonnig and Philip Rucker. And there's an article that's been adapted from the book published, and it's either the stuff of a really funny political sketch comedy show, or in this case, since it's not fiction but about the real world, it is absolutely the stuff of horrors. The incident in question happened 6 months into Donald Trump's administration. And it's important to remember that at the time, Jim Mattis was still Secretary of Defense. No bleeding heart liberal, a sensible guy with a worldview that does not match mine, not a guy that will be pushed around, though. And on July 20th of 2017, Donald Trump met with Secretary Jim Mattis. His then Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson, was also at the meeting, also gone now. Gary Cohn, Trump's former economic advisor, was also there, also gone now. And the point of the meeting was to talk about what is going to happen with Iran. How are we going to handle the Iran situation? Trump was already planning on bailing on the Iran deal, which he eventually did, as we now know. The meeting took place at the Pentagon. Chairman of the Joint Chiefs was at the meeting, Deputy Defense Secretary at the meeting. A lot of leaders of military branches were at this meeting. This is an important meeting. These are the generals that we heard so much about Trump's respect for and all of that stuff. They planned the briefing with lots of maps and pictures to try to keep Donald Trump's attention, which is always a challenge. And as soon as the meeting started, because of the tone of it and the direction, Steve Bannon, who was in the room, immediately thought, this is not going to go well. Donald Trump is not going to like this. The meeting went on for 90 minutes. Trump's attention span was like that of a fruit fly, interrupting constantly with non sequiturs. I won't list all of Donald Trump's interruptions because we'd be here all day, but they were really dumb. And eventually things exploded. Trump started to say other countries are worthless. NATO is worthless. The conversation kept escalating. Trump said, I want out of the Iran deal. It's the worst deal in history. Tillerson, again, not a bleeding heart liberal, but a guy who every once in a while would interject some sanity into Donald Trump's thought process. Tillerson tries to say, well, actually and Trump says, I don't want to hear it. They're cheating. I want to get out of it. They try to talk about Iran, and Trump explodes again, saying Afghanistan's terrible. That's a loser war. And then Trump attacks the generals, and Trump says, you're all losers. You don't know how to win anymore. And then Trump is really in a rage and goes into personal attack, saying, quote, I wouldn't go to war with you people. You're a bunch of dopes and babies. Draft dodger Trump telling a room full of generals that they are the dopes and the babies. Everyone in the room was reportedly stunned. Tillerson was visibly furious. Mattis was reportedly speechless and just staring straight down at the table. That military thing apparently of this is the commander in chief and I can't really lose my mind on him, but I can't stand what's going on, reportedly just staring down at the table. Even Mike Pence was reportedly silent and still like a statue, seemingly trying to blend into the background. Rex Tillerson later said that there was a woman in the room who was crying in a corner while this was going on. And eventually Rex Tillerson defended the generals and defended the military. And this is the incident that reportedly later led to Rex Tillerson uttering that now famous phrase that Donald Trump is a moron, which, remember, was sort of the beginning of the end of Rex Tillerson's secretaryship with Donald Trump, and a comment that he later did not deny when given the opportunity, that he called Trump a moron. So in a world that still made sense, Donald Trump voters that claim to support the troops would hear about this and they would be outraged because this is not supporting the troops. This is Cadet Bone Spurs, the Mango Menace, disrespecting the entire military apparatus at the highest level. Of course, Trumpists have been so successfully primed to believe that anything negative about Donald Trump is fake news that it probably will make no impact on them whatsoever. And I don't know that I need to say this, but I will. I don't agree with many of the missions of the military. I disagree with many of the ways in which the military is deployed. But when Donald Trump, who grew up with a silver spoon in his mouth, who assembles his top generals, who are people that went to school, they've had training, they've had vetting, they've done practical work, they've been deployed in many cases. And Trump says, I wouldn't go to war with you guys, you're dopes and babies. This is weaponized ignorance. It's weaponized narcissism. And this is the danger of Trump, that he assembles his generals, as he calls them, and he still believes he knows more than them when what they're saying doesn't go along with his completely harebrained preconceived notions. Every one of his so-called America First supporters should be abandoning Donald Trump over this, but it won't happen. We know that it won't because of cognitive dissonance, because of successfully priming his followers to disbelieve anything that sounds like Donald Trump did the wrong thing. And what, again, can we remove this guy in November? I don't know, but we damn well better try because it's getting really, really bad out there. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at @DPakman. If you want to see how bad it's getting, check out my hate mail post from this morning. Follow me at @DPakman and let me know what you think about this latest report.